Hello and welcome to today's non-conference soccer matchup between the 5-0 Ottoville Big Green and the Bluffton Pirates at 1-2-1. I'm Doug Jenkins with you for all the play-by-play action in this non-conference matchup. Ottoville coming in off of a big victory over at Liberty Benton just a couple of days ago. Their closest game on the season, winning 1-0. And in the meantime, the Pirates, they just had their first win of the season as well, beating Spencerville in a very hard-fought game as well. 1-0 the score in that. We'll get into both of these team seasons and how they've played out here in the early parts as play gets underway. It'll be Bluffton in their white away jerseys, moving right to left on your screen. Ottoville at home in their home greens, moving left to right, and we are underway. Again, the Big Green with a really strong start to the 2023 season, going 5-0 with wins over Defiance, Lincoln View, Fort Jennings, Bath, and Liberty Benton. Really the closest of those games, that game against LB, 1-0 on Thursday on August 31st. A hard-fought contest that saw Ottoville get an early goal and then hold on for the duration. And they scored probably about 5 or 6 minutes into that game and then really solidified their defense as LB was pressing forward in the second half, had some opportunities, but Ottoville was able to turn them all away, and as a result moved to 5-0 on the season. Taking a look at Bluffton and their schedule and how they've done so far. They lost the first 2 games of the year, but started off with a very strong schedule as well as they were beaten by Archbold and Tree of Life out of Columbus. A tie with Sylvania Northview, which is a pretty good team on the up-and-coming there. And then a 1-0 win over Spencerville on August 28th. How both teams are rounding into shape coming into this match. As you see Bluffton on the attack early here. Ottoville trying to get it out of their defensive third. There's a clearance up the field. Trying to work that left sideline. As Alex Lease, nice pass through the middle where he finds Preston Mansfield. Drop it back and decompress the field a little bit. And we'll see what Ottoville is able to do with it. Ottoville, of course, coming on into this season off of a very strong 2022 campaign. Saw them as regional finalists, district champions, of course, and would eventually fall to Ottawa Hills, would end up being a state finalist themselves. So a lot of expectations coming into this season for the Big Green, and thus far they have been able to answer all of them. Bluffton has been very strong the past few seasons as well. There's a nice pass into the box, trying to turn to get to that pass from Quentin Schnipke was Preston Mansfield. That's been quite the 1-2 combination for Ottoville the last couple of years. Nicely defended, though, by the Pirates of Bluffton as they try and work it out of their defensive third. Chase Kelly centering pass. There's a long through ball. That's going to be a little bit much for Isaiah Coley to get up to. They'll drop it back to Carson Hilvers, will the Big Green. We'll see how much Bluffton wants to pressure the defense of Ottoville here in the early going. That seemed to be Liberty Benton's strategy in the early parts of that game, and seemed like it was working. LB controlled the ball in that contest for the majority of the game, but Ottoville was able to capitalize on some Eagle mistakes to get that 1-0 victory. And then once they were able to get up 1-0, they really galvanized as a defense. That's a nice cross. Can they get to it and keep it in play? Yes, they can. Catching up to that, Quentin Schnipke. One of the better ball handlers you're going to see in Northwest Ohio. Goes to the right, chips one into the box. That one will be directly at the keeper, Kyle Basil, and he'll be able to save that. It'll go down as a shot on goal for Ottoville. And the Big Green get the ball immediately back following the punt. Pass it down into the far corner. Defending it there is Ethan Blount. And Blount sends it off of the Ottoville player down there. It's going to be Jaden Saxton. This is where the Big Green can be dangerous. This time they're going to go short, but they do have the ability to really throw it into the box as they roll one in. That one's going to roll across the keeper. And it looks like it did eventually go out of bounds. Kyle Basil will set it down for the goal kick. Actually, he's going to bring it up. I think offsides might have been the call there. Nope. Wrong on all accounts. That ball never went out of bounds. He just picked it up, walked it forward, punted it down, but that punt will not stay in bounds as Gavin Amstutz tried to keep it in play. Throwing coming from Joe Lease, 2 goals and 2 assists on the season. The Green led this year with 9 goals by Preston Mansfield. He has 3 assists as well. Quentin Schnipke has 6 assists and 3 goals. Beyond that, it's been pretty spread out for the Green. Schnipke going to drop one back to Lease again. Lee's crossing pass went right to the attackers and Gavin Amstutz. Amstutz, though, immediately covered. He has to get rid of the ball pretty quickly. Moving forward now come the Pirates. That's a nice stick by the defense, but Bluffton immediately able to recover. Coming up with the ball now is Isaiah Colai. Will drop it back to his right. Alec Davis with it. Swings it over to the right side and battle for possession. Got to get a whistle and a tripping violation going to be called against the Pirates, so Ottoville will get it back with the free kick back in their defensive third. Big right foot sends that across midfield. Nearly taken away by Preston Mansfield. Bluffton able to get it away from him, but the cross to the outside not going to be there, intended for Aiden Diller. Quick throw by Lease puts it back into play. And now Ottoville surveying the field from the opposite. Drop it back, see what they get, and go right back over to the left side. There's a big cross. If it can get through, defensive header will send it out of bounds. We've got a quick substitution for Ottoville pretty early in the game here. Just 5 minutes and change in. Throw will come from Quentin Schnipke. Looking for Nicholas Cortano. They're not going to find him. That one rolls past the end line, and it'll be a goal kick coming up for Bluffton. Look at the standings right now. Both teams, this is a non-conference matchup. Both teams, though, had played one game in their leagues. Ottoville, the top of the Putnam County League standings, tied with Miller City. Both teams 1-0. Kalida has a tie. Continental is 0-1. Fort Jennings 0-1-1 going into this Labor Day weekend. And the Northwest Conference, Bluffton tied with Allen East in the top spot. Both teams at 1-0. And then Spencerville and Ada are 0-1. Columbus Grove, Crestview, and Jefferson have yet to play a conference game just yet. Drop back to Schnipke. Schnipke centering it where he finds Saxton. Chips it forward, brought down by the Bluffton defense. Played it back to the midfield. It's a nice take and right back to the foot of Jaden Saxton. He wants to go outside. Couldn't quite find the corner, but taken away by the Green. That's a nice through ball. Trying to spin back to it is Schnipke. Schnipke turns and just has it knocked away. It's a deflection, and it will be a corner kick coming up for now Ottoville. First attempt at a set piece now for the Big Green. It's a nice move into the box by Schnipke, but well defended by the Bluffton defense. There's the corner. It is headed, but headed out of bounds left of the net. And it will be a Bluffton goal kick. The Big Green have a couple of players who can handle the ball under pressure once they get inside that keeper box. It nearly paid dividends there. I imagine we'll see a few more runs at that. As Cortana has the ball knocked away from him. Bluffton trying to play it through the middle to Gavin Amstutz. Amstutz back heels one right over to Chase Kelly. Kelly threw ball, plenty of green jerseys surrounding that one, but the pass to try and get it out of harm's way was intercepted by Diller. Big Green going to take it right back. That ball a little slow getting across the field, nearly taken away by Chase Kelly. Big Green able to maintain possession. Saxton sends it over to the left side. Long pass down to the left sideline was deterred. That one deflected by Cavillage. Didn't quite hit that square like he'd hoped, but he's able to deflect it over to the right side, over to Joe Lease. Looking for the give and go. And coming up with it, though, is Andy Mormon. Pass left side, will it stay in bounds? And able to catch up to that one is Alex Lease. Lease trying to turn the corner. There's a cross. That is up, and that's going to be just over the top of the crossbar and out of bounds. The Big Green, the ones putting the pressure on here in this first 10 minutes of action. We've had 4 shots, one of them on goal. Long pass down the field. Nearly headed out to Calvin Durstein. But once again, it's Ottoville able to take it away. Swing it over to the near side for Joe Lease again. Lee's going to drop it all the way back where he finds Brandon Cavlich. Cavlich works it out to the left flank. Just a lot of patience right now by Ottoville. Trying to get Bluffton to come back to their defense a little bit. Make them play up the field, then see if they can find a seam. But now it's Ottoville with the steal. Got to the ball first before contact was made. Pass into the box, but coming out to get that one will be Carson Hilvers. Hilvers comes into today's matchup with 10 saves. We've got an Ottoville player down after that contact on the turnover. Tell you what, we'll take a break while they attend to the injured player. Your score right now, 0-0 with 29:36 remaining in the first half of this contest between Ottoville and Bluffton. We'll be back right after this on WOSM. Back to action after the injured player came off the field under his own power. Looks to be okay, and we are back at it. Still scoreless between Ottoville and Bluffton. Again, we're pleased to announce new pricing for the WOSN streaming service. Only $8 a month, and you can watch WOSN from anywhere at any time. Sign up today at app.wosn.tv. It's also available on Roku and Apple TV. Go ahead, put it up on your big screen. Rewatch today's game and several others. Big Green in their attacking third, trying to switch fields. Retreating to get to the ball, Quentin Schnipke. Schnipke has time, passes over to the right side. A little bit much on that one as he tried to hit Joe Lease running down the right sideline. It'll be a Bluffton throw-in. And that'll end up being a foul against Ottoville there. Mormon making some contact with the Bluffton player before he's able to get to the ball, and now the Pirates will be able to send it back out of harm's way. Benjamin Hartzler sends that downfield. You know, Bluffton has had some very strong teams over the last several years. Again, made it to the regional level last year, I believe, where they were semifinalists. And played a very strong schedule out of the gates. Playing at Northview out of the Sylvania area. Northview, a much larger school than Bluffton. Tree of Life out of Columbus. Tough private school down there. So I think both of these teams have seen some tests in the early portion of the season. Throw in. Ottoville has it in the goal box. That's going to be knocked out of bounds. It's going to be a corner kick coming up. There's a little bit of a miscommunication on the Bluffton defense. So we've got a couple of Ottoville substitutions. Played just over 12 minutes here in the first half so far. Here comes the corner kick. That one is going to be too strong. And we'll go out of bounds past the touchline, so it'll be a goal kick coming up for Bluffton. A little bit of a breeze. It's a very nice day for soccer today here in Ottoville. Temperature of about 77 degrees. The wind, though, there's a bit of a breeze coming across the field from the far side of the field here into the press box on the near side. Might have carried that goal kick just a little bit. That one headed straight up into the air. And then knocked out of bounds. That was Charles Wright who got the initial header on it. So we'll see some substitutions work on for both teams. We'll get to those as the game progresses. Does look like Landon Selhorst coming on for his first action for Bluffton here. Throw in from Antrim. Ottoville going to pressure right away. They're going to let the center back handle it, though, and Ethan Blount. Blount works it over to the far side of the field. Stolen away and then dropped back into the waiting feet of Jaden Saxton. Pass to the middle, a little bit long on the touch. It's a nice challenge, but too strong by Isaiah Colai as it got right back to the big green. Charles Wright almost making something happen there in the midst of the defense of Ottoville. Had it pried away from him as the team's battle for possession in midfield. Miscue there by the big green. Nick Brandenberry couldn't quite get his foot on it. It'll go out of bounds into the Bluffton bench. Throw in coming up, Pirates. Throw in towards the center of the field, fielded by Colai. Colai looking upfield on the right now. Good idea going down the line and touched out of bounds by the big green. Tried to play it through the middle there. Colai again, he's really been the one kind of commanding the ball for Bluffton right now. Everything sort of works through him. He was looking for a pass through the middle. Again, this is just a very stout big green defense. Your passes have to be on the money. They close down some gaps very quickly. And it always seems like there's like 5 of them in the space that you want to be. Clearance didn't quite get there. Schnipke came up with it. He'll have it knocked away. Schnipke, though, quick to retreat, trying to get the ball back. There you go. There's that pressure by Ottoville. Almost working his way through. There's Mansfield. Schnipke got it. Schnipke puts one over to the left side of the box. Bluffton looking to get it out of harm's way. And that's going to be deflected out of bounds. Last touched by the big green. I think it's Caleb Davis over on the far side who deflected it off of the big green player. And a throw-in coming up for Bluffton. Throw-in immediately headed back down by Jaden Saxton. Ball finds its way right back to him. Passes over to the right side. Joe Lease. Lease sizes up the defense. Has Saxton. Wants to go right back to Lease. Ottoville tried to get Bluffton to work a little side to side. Pass over to the right side. Schnipke. Schnipke fakes left, goes right, takes it towards the end line. The cross is going to be deflected out of bounds in another corner coming up for Ottoville. This will be the 3rd big green corner kick of the afternoon. Taking it will be Quentin Schnipke. It's a nice ball into the box. It's headed down, and that one finds its way into the back of the net. The big green are on the board with 23-13 remaining in the first half. We'll be right back after this with the official goal scorer and more action on WOSN. Welcome back to Ottoville, where the Big Green sees a 1-0 lead with 23-13 remaining in the first half of action here in Northwest Ohio High School soccer. It's Landon Horseman on the receiving end of a quarter kick from Quentin Schnipke with 23-13 remaining in the first half to put the Big Green on the board. That was a beautifully delivered ball from Schnipke on the quarter kick, a well-executed set piece by the Big Green. And right there at the right time was Landon Horseman to finish the job. Big Green take a 1-0 lead. Now we'll see how Bluffton responds down 1-0. They've played in some close contests here all throughout the season. And you can see they're responding, I think, aggressively here. As Davis tried to go through the middle. And this is where Liberty Benton had trouble with Ottoville on Thursday night, or a couple of days ago from this game. Is Ottoville was able to get that early goal, and then it was just impossible for Liberty Benton to solve the defense of the Big Green. Again, it seems like there's 5 of them where you want to be, especially when the guy with the ball, or your primary ball handler, has it near the goal box. You can always count on 3 green jerseys being near the ball and still not giving up really any passing opportunities. Big Green on the attack here. It's a nice slide tackle to send that out of play by Ethan Blount. Blount got to the ground. Well, I think they're gonna call a penalty here. He definitely got the ball first. The question is, do you elevate your leg in that slide tackle? And if you do and then cause the trip, then that in turn leads to the free kick. That's what the officials are going to call here. So the Big Green going to catch a break. See if they can build on this 1-0 lead. Preston Mansfield will be the one taking the kick. Well, that was nicely delivered, just over the top of the wall, but had some top spin on it. Nicely defended by Kyle Basil. And Bluffton will send it right back down the field. Cavlich passed through the middle. Tried to work it out to the right side, but that one's going to be intercepted by Bluffton. A little bit of a miscommunication. Two players on top of each other. The Pirates going to have to drop it back. Mansfield dishes off, gets it back. Brinkman passes through the box. This one's going to roll a while, and coming out, that was a little dangerous. That ball is slowing down, I think, a little faster than Kyle Basil would have liked it to. He got out there, had to send it away, as he had a defender there to help him, but also had someone in a green jersey ready to try and just knock it towards the middle of the field, see what they could do if there was no keeper in the net. So about the only option you have there in the Pirate defense is to send it out of bounds. Here comes a throw-in now. Jaden Saxton, he can bomb it. You can see him getting deep on the track here. This was almost a de facto corner kick the way he can send it in. Lobbed into the box, that is deflected, and then coming up with it, Kyle Basil. Did a nice job reaching over the top and deflecting it away from any potential shooters, and then was able to step around his own defender to get right to it. Low line drive on the kick. Bluffton going to try and work the sideline. Couldn't quite handle it. Last touch by Gavin Amstutz. Shielding the ball there is Colai working it to the middle. That one didn't have much on it. Stayed on the ground, but nicely taken back by the Pirates. See if they can get something in a counter here. Wanted to go to the outside. Didn't have the numbers there. Again, we are just past the halfway point with a little over 18 minutes remaining in the first half. It's Ottoville up on Bluffton, 1-0. The WSN Scores app is new and improved. Download the brand new app from your app store so you don't miss any of your favorite team's scores. The new WOSN app replaces the old one, so make sure you delete the old one. Go into your app store or the Google Play Store, download the new one today, and stay up to date on all of the scores in the area. The free kick coming up for Ottoville in a precarious position for the Bluffton Pirates. That one low and kept on the ground by Landon Horseman. Horseman, the goal scorer. That was his third goal all the year. The assist came from Quentin Schnipke. That was his 7th assist on the season. Bluffton switching out their keeper. Do not have a 00 on my roster. We'll get a check on that. See if we can get that name for you here. Truett Diller will be the new keeper. They treat you nice up here in the Ottoville press box. They got that information to me quick. Well done. And we'll see. I don't know that there was an injury. Maybe they're going to move Kyle Basil into the field. Not sure what the substitution. You don't typically see keepers subbed out. We'll see what kind of what they might do here with that. Just looking over the sideline, it looks like Kyle Basil is going back behind the bench. I don't know, maybe he's going to change into a white jersey and put him in the field now. In the meantime, Bluffton will have a free kick, or a goal kick rather. been all big green here with about 16 minutes remaining in the first half. You got about 6 total shots for Ottoville, 3 on net, 1 finding the back of the net, and there's been 3 big green corners. So far, no shots for Bluffton, and they really haven't been able to force the issue to even get a set piece into their attacking third. Big throw, that one, I don't think that ever came in. Substitutions will come on now. Yeah, that looks to be the case with Kyle Basil. He's over on the sideline wearing a white jersey and white shorts now, so it looks like he's going to come in as a field player. You don't see that a whole lot anymore in high school soccer. I think when it was first developing in Ohio and first getting underway, you would probably see more kids who play goalie also be pretty good in the field, but it's become such a specialized position, and it is a very specialized position that typically your keepers don't practice a whole lot in the field. So we'll see what a difference that Kyle Basil can make as he comes out there wearing number 16. Now they do have him listed with a field jersey number, so this isn't unprecedented by Bluffton by any means. This is something that they know that they have in their arsenal to be able to move him out and see if he can create some offense. Throw-in finds its way to the big green. You don't see the no-look pass too often in soccer, but that's just what we saw as Mormon fields that. But the pass was from Saxton, who really looked off the defender. Pass right side. Finds its way to Matthew Horseman. But that'll be out of bounds by the big green. Bluffton trying to go long down the field. That one off the foot of Levi Antrim. Didn't find its mark. Bluffton's defense trying to find a way to get it to their midfielders. Perhaps find an attacker upfield, but now it's the big green on the attack, laid out to the left side, and just couldn't quite handle it. The shot is deflected. It got under the foot of Alex Lease. He had to reset himself. Otherwise, I think he was point blank ready to take a shot on goal. He had to reset himself, let the defense get in front. The shot was deflected away. It'll be the defense coming up with the save, not necessarily the keeper. Long lob into the box. Trying to turn the corner. Schnipke has it pried away, out of bounds, throwing coming up big green. Ottoville going to run a substitution on here before the throw-in. Deep near the near side corner. Initially, Schnipke looked like he wanted to take a throw, but since there were substitutions coming in, Ottoville couldn't go quickly. They decided to rotate over Jaden Saxton. Saxton going to go short this time. Schnipke towards the end line. That's going to be another Ottoville corner kick. This will be their 4th of the ball game. Scored on one of these. Schnipke's up there. We'll see how Bluffton tries to mark the incoming attackers for the big green. Went a little bit longer. There's the header. That one is over the crossbar and out of bounds. Looks like Cortana got his head on that one, and it will be another goal kick for Bluffton. Pretty good goal kick to get it into the center circle, but it's Ottoville that's first to it. Big Green going to send one way back for Carson Hilvers. Hilvers then will send it to the outside. Hilvers a strong keeper for the Big Green. Like I said, 10 saves coming into this contest. Only about 6'1", but plays long, able to cover a lot of ground. Hard to chip one over him, hard to find the lower corners because he's able to dive and extend those longer arms out to deflect them away. When you combine that with a defense that rarely gives you a very solid open look, you can see why it's hard to get a goal on this Big Green squad. Bluffton, that's the task they have at hand, trailing 1-0. And now on an attack as Antrim throws it in. Gets it up to Basil. Basil had it spun away from him, and we've got substitutions before the Big Green throw. Re-entering the lineup there is Ashton Miller. Also see Jackson Ricker return to the ball game now for the Big Green. Pass to the left sideline. Oh, the pass was off the mark. Can Bluffton capitalize? Not able to catch up to that was Gavin Amstutz. Big Green might have something developing at a counter. There's a pass to the left side as they get it out to Saxton again. They'll have the ball taken away from him by Durstein, or Durstein rather. Send it out to Basil. Basil trying to work to the left sideline. Might have an overlap coming. Didn't know. That's a nice left into the box. There's the header, and a defensive header will send it right back away. That one takes a bounce, almost turning on that was Gavin Amstutz. You saw him load up on it, just couldn't quite get turned to put a foot on it. Now the Big Green will send this one towards the left sideline, able to keep it inbounds. There's a steal at midfield. Bluffton first to it. Starting to see Bluffton work on their attack a little bit. This is the most we've seen them in their attacking third so far with just under 10 minutes remaining, and now it'll be a Bluffton corner. First corner kick of the game for the Pirates. We'll see what they do with the set piece here. Coming out to deliver it will be Cole Burkholder. Gets it set. Looks like the Pirates going to congregate about 4 at the top of the keeper box. Now they'll run in 5 or 6. That one, though, is sent out wide. There's a header towards the top. Turn, a shot, and that one is off the top of the foot of the attacker and goes sailing over the net. First shot attempt for Bluffton, though, as they got a little bit of momentum. They're trying to equalize this game at 1 apiece, but it's a 1-0 game in favor of Ottoville now with 8:54 remaining. Doug Jenkins with you here on WOSN. TV 44 and WSN are non-profit organizations supported by viewers like you, and now is a great time to make a donation in any size as a way to say thank you for this sports broadcast, as well as our many other broadcasts. You can go to WTLW.com and click donate here. Donations are accepted 24 hours a day. Just visit WTLW.com. Play continues in midfield here in Ottoville. It's a nice takeaway as Alex Lee's got his foot on it. Bluffton will send it out of play. Drop back, Cavillage. That one just did not quite find its mark. Bluffton might have something in the attack, but they could not connect on the crossing pass either. Nicely shielded. And then possessed. That's going to end up being a trip on Bluffton, and it'll give Ottoville a free kick just past midfield. Preston Mansfield did a good job getting his body between the defender and the ball. The defender went through him a bit. That'll end up getting the whistle each and every time. It's a long chip into the box. Schnipke puts it down. That one gets through, and nearly a shot attempt. Big Green had a couple of players there, just couldn't find a foot on it. Bluffton will be able to send it away unharmed. That was a nice pass by Quentin Schnipke. Just a low laser through the box. Defender didn't get a foot on it. More often than not, those will find their way in the back of the goal, but just not quite the right positioning. But here come the Big Green again. That's a pass moving forward to Ashton Miller. Miller trying to chase it down. The defender will take him to, ooh, that's a mag in the corner, but Miller recovers. Actually going to commit a foul in the recovery process. Levi Antrim doing some hard work in the near corner to ensure that Ottoville didn't get another chance at the net. Fortunately for the Pirates, they're going to waste that opportunity to get it out of harm's way by sending the free kick out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for the Pirates. As we near closer to the halfway point of this contest. Trying to work it out of there is Chase Kelly. Big Green get it back, pass towards the top of the goal box. Sent out of play, throw in coming up Big Green. Another Ottoville substitution. Well, one thing Coach Dustin Markward likes to do is keep fresh legs in the game. It really allows Ottoville to play a very fast-paced and high-intensity style matchup. We saw them sub just, I think, less than 4 minutes into the game from their first substitution in, and they've been running a steady rotation of players in and out ever since. Ball once again deflected. Quick throw by Saxton. Saxton, Schnipke tried the low pass across the middle again. That time, though, Bluffton was able to send it away. Coming up, chesting it down is Landon Horseman. Horseman passes over to the left side where he finds Calvillage. No, pardon me, that's going to be Mormon. Mormon sent that one sailing. And it will be a Bluffton goal kick once again. Goal kick sends it back to midfield. Either player was able to really get a good touch on it, but the pass is going to be intercepted by Joe Lees. Pirates looking to find something in the attack. There's a little bit of space to work with. Oh, but just overrunning the ball. It's Gavin Amstutz, that allowed the Big Green to send it away. Saxon tried to press it forward, didn't quite get enough on the pass. Didn't really look like there was a player involved. That's going to get out of bounds. Throw in coming up Bluffton. Nice try by Schnipke to keep it in play, but it will be a Pirate throw. Centering pass, that was a good idea, just well defended. That quick pass through the middle was the attempt. Nicely kept in bounds there and kept in play by Antrim. And Ottoville forced to knock it out of bounds. Quick throw in. Through ball almost found its mark as they were trying to get it into Kyle Basil. Again, Basil started off as the keeper in the contest. They subbed him out to put Trent Diller in the net. Allow Basil to do some work in the field. Throw to the end line. That's going to be knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Ottoville. And another Bluffton throw-in coming up. Well, here in the last probably 10 minutes or so of this game, you've seen Bluffton in there attacking. That's a big throw into the goal box. Nobody got a foot on it initially. Rolls back out and just able to get it away. The nick of time there was Nick Brandenberry. Lob back into the box, headed away. And now Ottoville looking to see if they can get something in a counter. It's a pass up the field as they get it to Mansfield. Mansfield trying to put some pressure on the defender. Good job there by Ethan Blount to slow it down. Didn't give up space. Turns it around for the Pirates. Colai with the ball again. Ooh, Colai just got blown off the ball, but the officials are going to say, Coach Dan Lee says that was looking for the whistle there. Can't say I blame him for looking for the whistle there. Ball got loose, and there is the chip over to the right side. It's out of play. We're going to get a free kick for Ottoville just outside the goal box with 2:22 remaining. It's an unfortunate series of events for Dan Lee's Bluffton Pirates here. I thought that they probably should have had the free kick there at the top. The officials say they got the ball first before that contact was made. But then a bit of a trip. They let them play.
2 minutes remaining in the half.
And now Ottoville going to have the free kick right at the top of the goal box. Four-man wall for Bluffton. And that's not going to count. The officials did not signal that they were good to go as Preston Mansfield tried to sneak one through there. So they'll reset it, do it again. Trent Diller gets his wall set. That one chipped, hits off the wall. Well defended by the Pirates. Bluffton was hoping maybe they could get it, something to go in a counterattack there. Now we'll have to work their way back down the field with a minute 16 remaining. Coming up with it here on the near side, Aiden Diller. Diller keeps it alive, lobs one down the left side. Didn't have enough white jerseys pressed up to try and make an attack on that one, so the Big Green will field it with under a minute remaining in half number one here in Ottoville. Centering pass, deflected, but the Big Green immediately chase it down. Joe Lease gonna send it over, looks like Ottoville content with this 1-0 lead. Now they'll send it up the field. So they worked a little bit of clock. Bluffton immediately rifles it right back as Durstein comes up with it. Durstein has it stolen away. But Bluffton immediately back with it. There's a lob forward. Horseman got his foot on it. Now down to 16 seconds remaining in the half. Big boot forward, that one drifting towards the left sideline. It'll get out of bounds.
6, 5,
and it looks like Ottoville content not to throw it in there. That will do it for the first half. We've played 40 minutes here at Ottoville in this non-conference boys soccer matchup. It's Ottoville 1, Bluffton 0. We'll be back for the start of the second half right after this on WOSM. Welcome back to Ottoville as we get set for our second half of today's contest. Ottoville Big Green leading the Bluffton Pirates in non-conference boys high school soccer by a score of 1-0. That goal came with 23:13 remaining in the first half. Landon Horseman marked his third goal of the season off of a set-piece delivery from a corner kick. Quentin Schnipke put a beautifully placed ball into the box. Landon Horseman headed it home. That's where we stand in scoring 1-0. That was the 7th assist on the season for Quentin Schnipke. Now, in the first half, you did see Coach Dan Lee for the Bluffton Pirates switch out his keepers and get Kyle Basil into the field a little bit. Now, they have switched back now to start off the second half. Kyle Basil is back in the net. So we'll see if they maybe make some changes here or not. Now, Ottoville comes in on the attack. Again, Ottoville going right to left on your screen here in the second half. And they're going to get a corner kick. It's going to be their 5th corner kick of the day. Big Green have been on the attack more often than not. We're going to call these the very unofficial first half stats. I have 9 shots, 3 shots on goal for Ottoville. There's a chip into the goal box. That one made it past the defender. That one fired over the top of the net. It'll be the 10th shot of the game now for Ottoville. Ottoville also had 4 first half corners, and that was their 5th right there. Bluffton has not had as many offensive opportunities, just 1 shot. That one sailed over the top of the net, and 1 corner kick in the first half. So we'll see what the Pirates are able to do to try and get their offense going. One thing that this Bluffton team, I think, is really building their identity on is just they don't give up. They are a very strong team. They're going to play you for 80 minutes. That one went off the official, so it's going to be a free kick here for Bluffton. In fact, I was talking to Sylvania Northview coach Tony Lofiego, and his thoughts are they're a strong team, very good for Bluffton. And he said they defend well too, which I get. You know, Northview is a much bigger school and than Ottoville. Ottoville defends very solid as well. So really, the fact that Ottoville's been able to put as much pressure on this Bluffton team has been quite interesting when you factor into just how well Bluffton defends. But it'll be Ottoville doing the defending now as Bluffton will get their 2nd corner kick of the contest. Trying to draw this one even. Corner kick from the far corner. We'll put high into the box. There's a header out towards the top. Finds its way back Over to Hoffman. And well, that was a long run to the ball to send that back to midfield by Quentin Schnipke, I think, who is the one who initially read that. But if you saw that developing, you saw the ball hop, and you saw Schnipke really anticipate where that ball was going, he started his run to send it back to midfield very early and not allow Bluffton much time to work with it. That's going to be a foul called on Jaden Saxton of the Big Green. Coming over to take the kick, Isaiah Kolak. Kolak sizes it up. It's a good ball over to the far side of the box. Nobody able to get a foot on it, though. And it will eventually go out of bounds. Last touch by Bluffton. Here comes the throw in once again for the Big Green. Landon Horseman will go all the way over to take the throw. Bluffton, though, fields it immediately. Tried the centering pass, wasn't there. Big Green just working those passing lanes. Nice job shielding and keeping the possession of the ball there by Alex Lease. Unfortunately, unable to keep the ball in play. Oh, that was a hard header by Jaden Saxton. Looks to be no worse the wear on that one. It's about the worst thing that could happen to you in soccer is the surprise header that you weren't expecting, and you can't really strengthen the neck, get ready for it, but it looks like everything is all right. Bluffton on the attack. There's the lob forward, but defended by Brandon Kavlich. Will send it away. Throw coming up again, Ethan Hoffman. Hoffman puts it into the middle of the field. Amstutz able to drop it back. A little bit of miscommunication once again from Bluffton. Just didn't quite have their spacing the way they wanted it when they wanted to send it back out to the far side of the field. And here we'll get our first substitution of the half for the Big Green. It's a little bit of what we were talking about in the first half. Dustin Marquardt keeps fresh legs in at all times as Garrett Trentman comes back into the lineup. So even though we're only 5 minutes and change into the second half, you're going to see that cycle of substitutions for the Big Green keep coming in and out. And part of the reason you're able to do that if you're Coach Marquardt is you've got depth and you've got athleticism. So you can give your guys a 5-minute rest here or there. And it just really lets you play to a point where you're not tired at the end of the game. That was one of the big points for, I think, Ottoville against Liberty Benton in their game a couple of days ago, is when Liberty Benton really started peppering the goal late in the game. Ottoville wasn't tired. They were able to run players in and out of the game, and their defense has certainly seen plenty of shots on goal before. They didn't flinch, and as a result, they were able to hang on to that 1-0 lead. And they're hanging on to a 1-0 lead here against Bluffton. Long lob into the middle of the field. That one sent well forward. Now the Big Green looking to work downhill. Pass towards the far corner. Hustling out to get to it is Mansfield. Mansfield trying to find some space to operate, and that one deflected out of bounds. Yes, it was, and it will be another corner kick for the Big Green. Now the wind is really starting to pick up here. 6th corner kick for the Big Green, and it's blowing across the field. It'll be behind this corner kick, so we'll see what kind of touch they're able to put on it, but you can almost anticipate this floating a little bit long. Oh, that was a nice low line drive. Nicely sent away by Kyle Basil, the keeper, but it's a Big Green back on it. Bluffton has some trouble getting rid of it. Did he get a hand on it? I think that's going to be the call. That's a handball in the box, and if that's the case, it's a penalty kick coming up for the Big Green. Indeed, that is what's going to happen here. Just an unfortunate bounce for the Bluffton defense. It sort of rolled up the defender and rolled right into his arm. And as a result, now Preston Mansfield will take the penalty kick as he faces Kyle Basil. And that will be sent right into the left side of the net by Preston Mansfield. It's a 2-0 lead in favor of the Big Green. We'll be back after this on WOSM. Welcome back to Ottoville, where it's the Big Green now leading 2-0 over Bluffton in this non-conference matchup. The score there coming from Preston Mansfield on a penalty kick with 32-16 remaining in the game. Gives the Big Green a little bit of a cushion to work with now, up 2-0 on the visiting Bluffton Pirates. But really, it's the pressure that the Big Green were able to apply in the minutes leading up to that penalty kick, as they just kept taking it away from the Bluffton defense, sending it into the box. And they were able to create that opportunity. Preston Mansfield ran right out of his headband trying to get to the ball there, but got to be taken away by Caleb Davis. Well, Bluffton, again, it should be an attacking opportunity for the Pirates, but when you look down the field, there are already 5 green jerseys waiting on it. It's really hard to get that counterattack going when you have 5 green jerseys waiting for you and you're attacking with 3. Usually it only takes 3 or 4 players to get that counter going, because you've got the numbers and you've got the momentum on your side. The Big Green are not going to allow that here in the second half, it would appear. Diving header by the Big Green. Saxton getting to the ground. Nice turn to the middle. There's a good through ball. The Green with numbers here. Well defended by Bluffton. We've got a Big Green player down on the far side of the field. That might be Preston Mansfield. We'll check on that. The officials are going to take a timeout to check on the injured player. Actually, let's go ahead and keep it right here. It looks like the player already back up with 30-28 remaining. That is Preston Mansfield coming up. A little bit of a limp initially. It's still limping a little bit. That would be an injury to keep an eye on for the Big Green. A big part of what makes this machine go. They'll tend to him, see how he's doing. Looks like he came over off the field under his own power. And a 2-0 game, certainly far from being decided. But you do have that goal, you have a cushion to work with, so you give him some chance to rest and really assess the injury. Oh, that pass did not find its mark. Ottoville feasting on it. Pass to the outside. Find Garrett Trentman, and then sent away by Bluffton and out of play. Throw into the far side of the goal box. Good defense by Bluffton there. Levi Antrim initially spins away, couldn't find any way to get back downfield with it, but he got it out of harm's way, got it out of the goal box. Makes Ottoville have to reset. It's been the Big Green playing in their attacking third of the field for the majority of this contest. And that pass right there, if you could just find the mark on that pass, maybe Bluffton can use that to their advantage. That time there were only 3 players back for Ottoville. And possibly an opportunity to find a corner, find a runner through the middle, and hit a 1-2 combination. It's a pass nearly picked off. Big Green fortunate to hang on to that one. Amstutz passes to the middle, but immediately surrendered back. Chase Kelly couldn't hang on to it. Big Green come back up with it. Played just about 11 minutes, just over 11 minutes now here in the second half. The Big Green of Ottoville with goals in both halves now. Landon Horseman, a header in the first half off of a corner kick. Broken open, a penalty kick by Preston Mansfield, the second Big Green goal. Keeping his feet, taking it to the corners. Alex Lee's centering pass nearly on the mark. Nicholas Cortana nearly got it, just couldn't quite adjust his body to deflect it into the net. That's a nice looking attack by the Big Green, but they will come up empty there as they run some substitutions in. It will be a goal kick for Bluffton. Taking a look at the upcoming schedule for both of these squads. Ottoville will next play next Saturday. Both these teams are off for a week now. And will have time to get ready for next Saturday's opponents. But it'll be Ottoville on the attack here. They're working out. There's the shot. Nice save going back to his left to get that one, Kyle Basil. Basil with the second save of the day. That's the one where he was under the most duress and made a nice save on it. Battle for possession here in midfield. And getting back to the upcoming schedule, Ottoville will be at home next Saturday to take on Corey Rawson, which could be an interesting matchup. Corey Rawson has really been filling up the net this year. They've had goal tallies in the double digits in several of their early season games. I think their schedule is starting to get into the harder part, so we'll see how they continue that. But they certainly have some goal scorers as we're going to get a whistle, and it's going to be a foul against the green there, as they say that Alex Lease got his hands into the back of the Bluffton defender. Coach Dustin Markward will plead his case, but to no avail. So a big game again coming up for Ottoville as they take on Corey Rawson. In the meantime, for Bluffton, they also have a week off, and they'll have some pretty tough competition coming their way next Saturday in Bluffton in a non-conference game against Liberty Benton. It can be a very interesting contest because I think both these teams, both Bluffton and Liberty Benton, trying to find their footing in the early parts of the season. Both have played very strong non-conference schedules to open up their season. And both will be looking for that critical big victory as they get into the heart of their conference schedules moving forward. So that is definitely one to watch for next Saturday as well. Substitutions for Bluffton there. Big Green able to move it forward, but then taken back away by Landon Selhorst of the Pirates. They're gonna whistle. That's gonna be an offside violation. The Ottoville player had been offside, came back to the ball, received it in front of the defenders, but you're not allowed to come back from an offsides position to receive the ball, so that's gonna give it right back to the Pirates. Or at least you're not allowed to be the first person to touch the ball after coming back from an offsides position. Big kick, Basil. That went skied forward, or skied upward, I should say. It'll be a throw-in coming up now for the Pirates. We got a substitution coming on for Bluffton. We do understand there's going to be a hydration break here, sometime between 25 minutes remaining in the game and that 15-minute mark. It is starting to get a lot warmer down on the field. It is Labor Day weekend, so you can expect temperatures in the 80s and some humidity, so a hydration break will be coming up here in the next few minutes, just kind of depending on what's happening in the game. The officials will make that call. Bluffton with the ball, they're going to play on and play the advantage, although, and then now they're going to get a foul call. Isaac Brinkman challenging for it, but got a little bit too much of the body, and that will give it right back to Bluffton. Working it out to the near side, Coley. Or Coley, pardon me. Blue ball touched through by Ashton Miller. Nearly caught up to it himself. Defensive header didn't turn it away. Now can Miller catch up to it? The defense challenging. They're going to get to it first. Trying to switch directions. And it'll be another foul on the big green as Ashton Miller will be called for that free kick coming up from Bluffton. Just trying to get it out of their defending third of the field. I think if this half plays out a lot of the way that the second half or the first half played out, you'll see Bluffton get an opportunity or two where they were able to put the pressure on the defense of the Big Green. They're going to have to be very precision focused when it comes to those attacking opportunities. Obviously, they've been much fewer than what Ottoville's been able to garner today. But you definitely have some players from Bluffton who can make you pay for a mistake. So, Big Green with a 2-0 lead, though, still will have to play with the complete focus in this one as that one set out. And that's exactly it. That one didn't find the mark. Now Bluffton has a throw in as they move into their attacking half of the field. Throw in coming up once again for Bluffton. Centering pass deflected. Pirates have an opportunity here. I like the idea on the pass, trying to play it forward to Chase Kelly and let Kelly run forward, but well defended by the Big Green, sent out of bounds by the Pirates. That throw-in didn't make it inbound, so a throw-in coming up from Bluffton. Pirates gonna run another substitution here. Ethan Hoffman set to throw it in. Hoffman, low line drive, can he get back to it? He's able to deflect it forward. Blount gets it, Blount centering pass. Touch one a little bit long. Big Green able to put pressure on it. Now send it forward, working to the outside. Pirates the first ones to it. Blount wanted to work it back to the middle of the field, stolen away by Brandenberry. Brandenberry wanted to push forward, didn't have the numbers. Wisely switches back, and now pass in the middle of the field. That's going to be, I think they're going to let Ottoville play the advantage. It's going to be the signal here. We've got bodies flying all over the place at the moment. This game getting a lot more physical here in the last couple of minutes. Big Green, though, back on the attack. That's a nice slide tackle. Excellently played ball by the defense, and we've got an Ottoville player slow to get up. It's going to be Quentin Schnipke. He's okay, but they did stop the clock for him. I think that was Theo Andrews who made the slide tackle. I'm trying to read the numbers out there. Actually, I don't see a number 10, but the slide tackle was, it's a strong tackle. They're going to end up giving it back to Ottoville. And again, I thought he got there okay and made contact with the ball before the player, but again, it's all where that leg is. If that leg comes up after making contact with the ball, that's the problem. That is a shot, but that is well over the goal. It'll be Bluffton going the other way. The officials are now going to signal for that hydration break with 20:11 remaining in the second half. It's Ottoville 2, Bluffton 0. We're back with more after this on WOSN. Welcome back to Ottoville, where the Big Green lead the Bluffton Pirates in boys high school soccer 2-0. Just over 20 minutes remaining here in the game. Quick hydration break. The officials determined at the half things are heating up on the field, and they wanted to make sure that no dehydration issues. So they signaled that they would give one at about the midway point of the second half. So we've gotten past that. Now Ottoville leading 2-0. See if they can seal the deal with a third goal. Bluffton, in the meantime, just trying to find a little bit of an attack, see if they can do something to inch a little bit closer to the Big Green. Lease makes the turn, centering pass is deflected, and will be sent back by the Bluffton defense. Oh, there's a miscue. Bluffton finally able to come out to get that. Kyle Basil one. That's where some very unintended things can happen in soccer, is the miscommunication between goalies and defenders. Certainly, communication is very important in every sport. That goes without saying, but it's really that communication between the goalies and their back line that can make or break a good soccer team. And that time, that just didn't quite see. One defender misses the ball, and then a mix-up of who's going to go to that ball first, the keeper or the defender in front of him. Fortunately for Bluffton, at that time, Ottoville didn't have a green jersey in that space. Otherwise, that could have been that third goal for Big Green, and Kyle Basil was able to pick that up. All right, they switched again. Excellent job, Casper, letting me know that they did switch keepers again and put Trent Diller back into the net for Bluffton. And we saw them do this in the first half. Then they bring Kyle Basil back out into the field. He'll play up top. Again, you just don't see that a ton in high school soccer anymore. It comes down to two things. Do you have a backup that you can trust? And certainly Dan Lee does have that, Trent Diller. Two, just the way you train between games is so much different for keepers now more than ever. They basically have their own different drills going on a lot of times and don't get a lot of opportunities to work on things like ball control and passing, things like that. So to have a keeper who can come out and really handle the ball, that's certainly a very nice weapon to have for the Pirates. They're going to try and find Basil and see if maybe he can be the difference in getting this game closer to level. But it's the Big Green who have had possession the bulk of this game. Ball chipped forward by Caleb Davis. Ottoville unable to get a clearance. There's a chip, and that one is going to be high and out of play. Getting a foot on it there was Isaiah Colai. Got his foot just a bit under it for the second shot attempt of the game for Bluffton. And that one sailed well over the crossbar. A lot of backspin on that ball. Keep it on Bluffton's attacking half. And the Big Green were able to intercept one pass. Ball got out of bounds. It was the last touch by. Looks like Bluffton was not able to keep it in play before it deflected out of bounds. Pirates will work it to the near side. Just trying to find a seam as this one's knocked out of bounds. And last touched by Ethan Hoffman. Throwing coming up Big Green. Caleb Davis set it down, then passed it over to the left side. Cole Burkholder. Long pass down the field. We'll see if Bluffton utilizes their goalie. Nope, step over. And work it to the outside. So they get it to their left back. Good challenge by Bluffton. Yeah, that's going to end up being Kyle Basil committing the foul there. Just tried to step in front of the Big Green player, but got there, step late, made contact before he had any chance at the ball. Easy call for the ref there. Slide tackle coming back to get that one. Alex Lease keeps it alive for the Green. Going to try and go right back to him. That ball a little bit long, but boy, it spun right out to him. Now he takes it to the corner. Can he make the cross? He cannot. And it will be a corner coming up for the Big Green. 7th time in this contest that the Big Green have been able to put it in there for a corner kick. They've delivered on one of these, that being their first goal of the game. Back midway through the first half, with Landon Horseman put his head on one and put it into the back of the net. Now we've got a Big Green player down. That's going to be Lease. Maybe a cramping issue, but that'll stop the clock with 14:48 remaining here. And the coaching staff going to have a look. We'll take a break and step aside. Back with more action from Ottoville after this on WOSM. Alex Lease will come off the field under his own power. The Big Green leading Bluffton by a score of 2-0 here in Ottoville. And it's the Big Green with a corner kick as we return to the action.
Timer. Start the clock when the ball was played, not on the whistle.
Gotcha.
So reset that back to what it was, please.
The corner kick is going to be taken here. It looks like that'll be Quentin Schnipke. Of course, he's been the primary corner taker for Ottoville in this game. There's the kick, nicely delivered, and that was going to be headed up and over the bar. Out of bounds, no harm done. Bluffton will go back the other way. But for Ottoville, by my count, that's 12 attempts at the goal. 4 of them have been a shot on goal. Of the goals scored in this game, 1 a penalty kick, and then 1 an actual attempt from the field. Well, there's no admission fee to watch this game, but there is a cost for us to broadcast. You can say thanks to viewer-supported TV 44 by sending a financial gift. TV 44 relies on the donations of viewers to enable airing this game, as well as all of our other locally produced programs. You can donate now at WTLW.com and click Donate. Battle for possession in the center circle here. It's a good job by the Ottoville defense, working out of harm's way. Get it over to Jackson Ricker, sends it forward, then sent away and out of bounds by Bluffton. Big throw, Saxton. Headed forward by Cortana. It's a nicely played ball right there by Burkholder, who set it down, then set it forward. Giving chase is Basil. And drop it all the way back to the keeper in Hilvers. Hilvers will send it away. Just an unfortunate collision there, and I think, yeah, we're going to stop the clock. I think Levi, no, pardon me, that's going to be Isaiah Kolak challenging for the ball. He got spun around. I think he got a cleat. You would prefer not to catch a cleat. And the official's going to check on him. The coach going to check on him as well. It looks like we will take a break as well with 13:02 remaining in the second half. It's Ottoville up 2-0 on Bluffton. We're back after this on WOSM. Well, Isaiah Colai will be able to come off the field under his own power. And we're just about ready to resume action here in Ottoville. Non-conference high school boys soccer. Big Green have been the aggressors today, leading by a score of 2-0, controlling the ball the bulk of the game. Just trying to put away win number 6 on the season to stay undefeated. And boy, you start off 6-0, Big Green, it's safe to say they picked up right where they left off last year in that run to the regional finals. That's knocked out of bounds. That's going to be another corner kick coming up for the Big Green. Be their 8th corner kick. A game where Ottoville fell to Ottawa Hills, but they landed the first haymaker of that game, going up 1-0. Ottawa Hills, very strong soccer power. That one headed into the box, headed right back out to the corner taker, sent right back into the box. Keeper got a piece of it, but didn't get it out of bounds. Ball still in harm's way for Bluffton. That's going to be another corner coming up for the Big Green. Substitution once again for Ottoville. And a miscommunication there, a little bit heavy on the pass, sends it out of play. Bluffton avoids harm, and they'll be able to send it away on a goal kick. Perhaps a little bit of a miscommunication there. You can see where they wanted to maybe make that run on the touchline, send it right back to the person taking the corner kick. But there was a little bit too much weight on that pass, sends it out of bounds. And Bluffton will be able to try and advance it towards midfield here. Long touch, and that one got away. Throw coming up Ottoville. Throw in, headed straight up in the air. And now eventually sent all the way across the field and out of bounds. Throw in coming up for the Big Green. Looks like Bluffton has a couple of subs ready to come in their next opportunity. A little time to work. There's a nice pass to the outside. Big Green on the attack again. Ball chipped into the goal box, but coming out to get that will be Trent Diller once again. Diller flies it back down the field on the punt. Unfortunately for him, not a white jersey in the area to bring it down. Sent forward. Challenging for it is Kyle Basil once again. And we're going to get a whistle and a violation against Bluffton. A little bit too much body in the attempt to keep possession of the ball, and the Big Green get it back. We're under 10 minutes remaining in the second half. Ottoville with that 2-0 lead. But there's a steal for Bluffton. There's the through ball. Getting to it is Basil. Basil tried to get the left foot on it, deflects off of an Ottoville player, then harmlessly rolls into the hands of the keeper in Carson Hilvers. And Hilvers will send it away. It was actually Carson Hilvers who had an assist against Liberty Benton on a long punt that got the defense for the Eagles all discombobulated. Always feels good for a goalie to get an offensive statistic in. Battle for possession in the center circle. Bluffton will come away with it. Bounce it to the outside, but again, just too much on that pass. And it'll be an Ottoville throw-in. Both teams going to run substitutions in and out. Looks like Isaac Brinkman will return to the lineup now for the Big Green. Long lob down the field for Ottoville. Not going to find its mark. Throw in for Bluffton now. Check out our website, WOSN.TV, for scores, standings, and more sports and teams than anyone else in the state. You can check out our broadcast schedule, upcoming games, social media posts, and a whole lot more. It's all at WOSN.TV. Just put it in your bookmark thing. Put it, bookmark it in your browser on your phone and on your laptop, so you're never that far away from all your favorite high school sports. Free kick here for Bluffton. Good distance on it, but Bluffton not the first to make contact with it. They are the first to put it on the ground, though. Trying to work with it is Calvin Durstein. But he has it taken away by the Big Green defense. That pass did not find its mark. Nicely chased down by the Bluffton midfield. Pass to the right side, too much on that one. Trying to work it over to Ethan Hoffman here on the near side, but well off the mark. Throw-in is deflected out of bounds. Just enough on that one to get it out of bounds. Otherwise, that could have been in harm's way as Nicholas Cortado was right there to try and continue the attack. There's a big throw. Saxton puts it in play. Able to get back to it, too, after it was headed right back at him. Coming forward on it, Kavlich, stolen away. Pass up the field to Basil. Basil, again, started the game in net. In both the first and second half for Bluffton, but in both halves has come out onto the field to play as a field player up top. Antrim's pass trying to get it. Now they find Basil. Basil trying to get around the defense. And, oh, that's going to be, they're going to stop the clock, and that's going to be a card. So here's what happens there. The initial challenge was pretty physical, but the ball was touched first and then the bodies collide. And then as Kyle Basil tried to get back to it, another physical challenge, but this time he does not make contact beforehand and ends up hitting the Ottoville player from behind. That ends up being a cardable offense. So he'll have to come off with the yellow card there. And it'll be Ottoville to send it back down the field. That stops the clock with 6 minutes remaining in the game. So the game can get physical from times. It's just a matter of where that ball is when bodies collide. If you're making contact and you're not raising your leg, you're not throwing your body into a different player, a lot of times that'll be just fine. It's when you make that contact before the ball or well before the ball, that's when you can have the issue. Pass to the outside as Bluffton wins it back. It's going to get out of bounds. Nicely played there by Levi Antrim. Ball slipped out of his hands, though, as he tried to throw it in. And now he's going to be whistled for a handball as he just picked it back up, wanted to try to get a do-over. That's not how that's going to be allowed. So it'll be a free kick for Ottoville. He'd have been all right if that ball would have just fallen out of bounds when it slipped out of his hands, but it slipped out of his hands into the field of play. And as he picked it up, that causes the handball. Bluffton really challenging here. Down 2-0 with 5 minutes left. They have to be as aggressive as they can possibly be. So you're starting to see that come into effect. That's a nice play, nice move there by Blount. Drew his defender towards him, then played it down the line. You see Cole Burkholder made a challenge for it, then Gavin Amstutz. Big Green, though, able to turn it away. Send it back out to midfield. Getting up foot up on it there initially was Chase Kelly. But the Big Green get it back. Now the Big Green, if they can be on the attack, they don't necessarily have to be with that 2-goal lead. They might take it towards the corner, but it's stolen away before they have to make the decision. Nice aggressive move there by Aiden Diller, a senior for this Bluffton team, who initially kept it in play kept the possession alive for Bluffton. It'll be sent out of play by Ottoville, and with 4 minutes left, got a throw-in coming in for the Pirates. Through ball, giving chase to it as Ashton Miller. Miller fires, and that one well over the crossbar and out of play. I think if Coach Dustin Markward were to nitpick his team, who's played very well today, the one thing he would say is let's get some of those shots down, as that is the, again, very unofficial stat, but by my count, 13th shot that Ottoville has attempted. Shots on goal, though, are only 4. So you get some of those to come down, and suddenly that 2-0 lead could look something more like a 4-0 lead. They just have sent a few sailing, probably a few more than they'd like to see. But they're in great position for a 6th victory, so probably not going to dwell on that point too much. Bluffton throw-in finds Ethan Blount. Blount sends it forward. That one's going to be too strong off the foot of Cole Burkholder. Couldn't quite get his foot down in time just to set it down. Ended up deflecting it out. Rickard drops it back to Cavillage. Long pass over to the right side. Nearly getting it around the defender there. But it's going to go into a scrum of players and then be set out of play. Nice steal, nice takeaway as we approach midfield. But the Big Green going to take it right back. Saxton sends it over to the left side. Quentin Schnipke. He possessed it for a moment. We'll battle for possession again as that one set up. Now they'll lob it forward. That one kind of in a dangerous spot. Ottoville, again, with the 2-goal lead, not necessarily having to bear down on the ball like that, but anytime you can chip one in where you're not sure if it's going to bounce just inside the goal box or if it's going to bounce to the outside, that forces the goalie into a decision that they'd rather not have to make. Or do I have to go get it at the top of the box? Do I let my defenders handle it, even though it's up high on the air? That can sometimes be difficult to judge. And it's balls like that that can often lead to goals just because you force the defense into making a tough decision. Down to just over a minute remaining. Ball sent across. And that one knocked out of play last. That was a deflection, so Big Green going to get a throw. They're trying to mount a little bit of an attack here, with Luke Hoffman receiving the ball. Cross into the goal box. That one's headed out of bounds. It will be another corner for Ottoville. The Big Green have been living down at the corners of their attacking third. This will be their 10th corner kick in the game now. Inside 30 seconds remaining. The Big Green perhaps looking for the cherry on top of the sundae here. See how they opt to play this. It's a well-played ball. It's parried initially by the keeper. The ball, it's in the scrum and hammered into the back of the net with 7 seconds remaining. Bluffton struggling to get clearance there. And that will be the third goal of the game. That's what can happen when the ball is just, we'll get the name of the goal scorer here in just a moment.
Big Green goal by number 21, Luke Hoffman.
Luke Hoffman. Just persistent in the scrum right there. That's what can happen on some of those corner kicks, is if you can't get that initial clearance and it just sits there. And it was an excellent attempt by Diller to get to it. I think he even touched it initially, but just unable to get any clearance. The ball rolls back, and Luke Hoffman puts it in for the third Big Green goal. That is your ball game. Ottoville will win 3-0 and move to 6-0 on the season. Bluffton now will fall to 1-3-1 on the season with the loss. Goal scorers today for Ottoville. Luke Horseman had the first goal of the game, assisted by Quentin Schnipke. Preston Mansfield scored on a penalty kick, and Luke Hoffman scores with 7 seconds left in the second half to make it a 3-0 game in favor of the Big Green. Thank you for tuning in and watching sports once again on WOSN. Have a great day, everybody.